Hello and welcome back. Today we're going to be creating the pillars to go in our kind of dungeon level with our barrel and crate. And since it's going to be the same file, I'm just going to hide these two for now. And we're going to create our pillars from the beginning. So what we're going to do, we're going to create one pillar and then we're going to duplicate that, make slight alterations to the other pillars, and then add some details so they look worn and beaten down and etc. So to start off with, we need to create our pillar. So Shift A to get the mesh, and we want our good friendly cube. We love the cube. And I'm going to press N to get my dimensions here, and I do want this to be quite thin. Let's see, I think 0.5 and 0.5 there. I mean, you could scale them in manually, but I know by heart my dimensions. So yeah, so if you did want to do it manually, you can have it selected, press S, and then Shift Z. So I only scale on the X and Y axis. So you can see, I can actually make it, actually I might go for a 4. 0.4. That looks better. Now, one thing we're going to do, we're going to be mirroring stuff, and I know that I want to mirror along the axis here. What's going to happen is if I mirror this, if I apply the mirroring to this now, just to give you guys a demonstration, if I mirror, general, and where is it? Mirror, there it is. We set along Z-axis. We don't really see much happening because it's applied it there. So if I start editing this, and if I just do a G, it's kind of, you can see it's kind of done it inside of itself. It's not, if I pull it up, yeah, it's just not doing it the way I like. So undoing all that. And whilst we go into editing mode, and I'm going to turn that, I don't want that, I want the move tool, thank you. So I just want to do Control R and click. And there we go, we've got a nice edge loop there. We go to face mode, and over here I'm going to switch to wireframe. The reason I'm doing this is if I went into solid view and I just select, click and drag to select, you think, I've selected everything, but in reality, no you haven't. Whereas if we have have it see through the wireframe, click and drag, I have selected everything. So be careful of that, that can catch you out. I'm also giving a menu set here, that's distracting. I'm going to hit delete, and we want to delete the faces so that we've got a nice clean box there. I do want to move this up, so coming back to object mode, bring my menu up again, and I do want to raise it by 1 on the Z axis so it sits on top. Get rid of that there, and yes, quite happy with that. Now whilst we're in the object mode, we're going to go to add modifier and add in our mirror, and we're going to make sure it's on Z, not X, and there we go. We've got an exact duplicate. Looks like I haven't done anything at all, but we have. We've got things set up because the top and bottom are going to be identical to start with, and this halves the process and makes life just easier. If things are going to be symmetrical, do half. It saves a lot of work than having to redo it all over again. So going into editing mode. Now I know I want to add some details here, so I'm going to do Control R. Good, and click up and drag. Think about, there's half a square. I'll put a wireframe mesh to see how it looks here. Quite happy. Yep. And I do want to add some more edge loops in here, so I'm going to be Control R. Get another one, and that's roughly. What I'm trying to see is if these are roughly the same as that. This one's going to be a little bit thinner. Actually, I might press GZ and just scoot this up just too much. Yeah, I do want a bit of a thicker area down here so that it'll expand. So I'm going to press Alt Shift so I can select both those two, Control B to bevel, and just bring it in. Now I do want to have an extra loop in there, so using my scroll wheel, just going to scroll to add one extra. Don't want it, but just... Yes, I actually do a bit more. Yeah, that's perfect. Now, I only want the inside loops. You can click them manually, but whilst we've got things selected, I'm going to press Ctrl- to reduce the area of selection. Press S on my keyboard and Shift-Z, so that we're not affecting the Z axis. We just want to affect these two and bring it in here nicely. Yeah, I'm very pleased with that. And those look pretty good. I think I do want to lower this around with some. We shall see. It's that case of like looking at it thinking, do I want to mess with things? I'm going to add another edge loop here, so we're going to do Ctrl-R. Bring this in to be kind of half a block here. And I'm going to add a bevel and try and get it to match. Yeah. Ctrl-. And here I'm just going to look for the side view so I can visually gauge. S, Shift-Z, and just, it doesn't help the Y-axis is blocking, but you can kind of see I can make a rough guess there. Now just having a look at this, I might raise this area up. So I press Alt to grab that, Control+ to increase the area selection, GZ just to scoot it on up. I kind of want this block to roughly be the same as that one, and this one to be half that. Now what I can do, go to faces or press 3 on your keyboard, and I just want to grab these faces here, and I want to pull them out. So S, Shift-Z, and just pull it out. Got a nice little face there. Yeah, quite that. Don't want it too out because I'm going to add another one in here. Actually, I'm going to look on the solid view. Yeah, I am happy with that. Now, next we're going to add another edge loop, so Ctrl-R. Going to add edge loop, bring it down about there. Press 3 to get our faces. Let's just go around. E to extrude, S for scale, Shift-Z to not affect the Z axis, so we can just pull it along here. And what I'm going to do next is just go into object mode so I can see the pillar in all its glory. Yeah, I'm actually pretty chuffed with that. I do feel that these are a bit too thick there. I might adjust those a little bit. It's a case of looking and thinking, what am I happy with? And I'm not quite happy with this area, so I'm going to select all that. And I'm going to increase the area selection by Ctrl+, and I just want to squash these down a bit along the Z axis. So I'm going to press S, this time Z. So then I'm only affecting the Z axis, just going to squish it down just a wee bit. I'm also looking at the top one because this doesn't have the wiring and the wireframe. And yeah, I am pretty happy with that actually. That looks a bit better. Again, you can make adjustments based on what you think looks good visually. I am really happy with this. And again, you can bring in back your barrel and things. Now, as we can see, our barrel is much bigger than our pillar. So I'm actually going to rename this pillar. And we do need to make this a lot bigger. So I'm going to go into object mode and we're going to scale this up. Now it's going to go from the center. So I'm just going to press S and scale it up. I want this to make a bit of sense. And yeah, that looks about good. I'm going to get N so I can see how much I'm scaling it up by. Oops. try and make things nice and uniformed. So maybe increase a little bit. And I am going to go into side view here and press GZ and go up. And let's have a look. Yeah, that does actually look pretty good in terms of our structure. I'll also go into here, check the grid, zoom out a little bit. I wonder if I could actually make this bigger. Just gonna see. Not the pillar. So here we can do a bit of math. We can make that to a nice even 1, this one an even 1, and this one a 5. And then that means we can bring this to a nice 5 here. And just make a look. That actually makes a lot more sense. Now the reason I'm doing the graph, because I like to keep things in a nice straight number, and also in terms of the creating things, these are about a couple blocks. So if I was to stack 3 here, it come up to about, let's see, 1, 2, 1, 2, come up to there, and that makes kind of sense because, you know, dungeons are pretty big. So yeah, I'm really happy with that, and I can say this is roughly 1 big square here. So yeah, I can bring this back to its center point. So I just want to put that at 0. This is dead in the center. Put our barrel and crate array. We don't need those anymore. We're really happy with our pillar. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to duplicate this, and then we are going to make slight alterations, then duplicate it again, make more alterations. Get rid of my menu there. I'm going to go, well, you can do it one 2 ways. You can go over to object, duplicate object. Don't do loop. The difference between this one, once you duplicate it, is a separate object. Linked duplicates is where if you make a change to one, it'll affect all the other duplicates. So this can be handy if you're doing multiple chairs and you want to change them slightly. This, we just want duplicate or Shift D. Press Y and just shift it over here a little bit, and I'm quite happy there. So we're going to center this, I'm going to press your number pad, full stop on your number pad. And as I said, we're going to just make some slight alterations. The alteration to this one is I'm going to move things up here a bit. So I'm going to wireframe. Actually, I'll go into vertices, be a lot easier. And I'm just going to grab all these guys. Yeah. Press GZ and just bring them in. I want to make this middle section quite squished. And again, looking here, and yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So I'm going to make a duplicate, so I'm doing Shift D and press Y because I want it nice and straight along the Y-axis here. And with this one, I'm going to make the center block about roughly almost the same thickness as this. And this time, actually, wireframe, and grab just the center vertices. Yeah. I'm going to press S, Shift Z, because I want just to thicken this. Actually, I'll judge it here. There we go, that adds a nice bit of variation to it a little bit. If we look at this in object mode, there's some interesting looking pillars at the moment. And there you have it, you've got your 3 pillars, and they look like, you know, very different. You have one that's special, and another 2 do other things. Now, what we need to do first, whilst we're in object mode, is we need to apply the changes, because we're going to add some details that are, you know, we don't want to replicate the same top and bottom. We want, you know, maybe some details here and some details down here, but not necessarily on the other side. So we do need to apply our mirror modifiers. So I'm going to select this one, go over here, apply. Now, if you're in edit mode, if I was to click on, click on this one, which has the mirror modifier, you will see that if I don't have the ability to apply. You can only do this in object mode. So I'm going to apply here. Apply here. There you go. So now I just need to add some details. So we're going to edit mode. Make sure we're on the edges. And I'm going to press the edge here. Hold Control so I can get all the lines going down to the shortest distance. And I'm going to press Control B and increase. Now I don't want the extra, so I'm going to use my squirrel wheel to flatten that. Yeah, kind of liking that. I want to add maybe another one. Should I add one down here? Yeah, add one down here. It's going to be quite a bit, so Control there. B to bevel. I'm going to make this one quite flat piece there. Okay, that looks pretty cool. And what I'm going to do is just do some different variations. Bevel here. I might have another one over here. Actually, Control B now. Be a little bit careful because you can see it stretches quite a bit there. That is fine. Quite happy with that. Adds a bit more character. And quite a little short one here. And I hold Shift because I want. Oop. So I can hold Shift, Control there. So we've got two lines. So I can press Control B, and yeah. Just thinking, yeah, that's enough for there. Now, just going to show we're going to add a little bit of more beveling to the corners, but I want to show you something first. I'm going to press the vertice, and like we did with the crate, I'm going to press Control B, V. Now you notice it goes quite tall very quickly, and there is a reason for that. If we go back into object mode and press N, we can see that this mesh is taller than it is wide. So we need to reset the scale. So with the mod, I'm going to do it for 3 of these. With them selected, I'm going to press Control A, and or you can hit Apply. Well, Object Apply does the same thing, and we want to affect the scale. And watch the magic happen. Boom! There you go. Same scale. So going back into Edit mode. Let's try it again with this vertice still selected. Control B, V. And you can see it's a lot more uniformed. Now I'm just going to go around and add where it's needed. I'm not going to do it to these edges. I'm just going to find areas where I want to add maybe authentic battle damage. Oop. Press Control B, V. And just adding it. Oop. Keep pressing Control the wrong buttons. Now, if I did bring this too close, you're going to have it on top of the other, so I don't want it touching per se. And I'm literally just going to continue. You can already see that already that's making a heck of a difference. It's making the pillar look a lot more interesting and giving it some more details. Let's do some more details there. Yeah, probably put. Yeah, that looks alright. Doesn't really need to. You don't. You know, sometimes less is more. I'll put a cheeky one there. And again, you can take your time and Control Z it and everything. You don't have to do exactly as I'm doing. Yeah, I'm quite happy with that. So what I'm going to continue doing, I'm going to speed things up, and I'm going to do the same to these 2 pillars here, and we'll be right back. And there we go. I am quite happy with how these are looking. Now there's another thing we can do as well, just to add a bit more to it. I'm going to select all these, go into Object Edit Mode, click on a vertice, press A. It can be a face, edge, anything, just press A. And then we can go to Mesh, Transform, Randomize. And you can see it's added some random to it, but it's a bit too much. I mean, you can increase, and the more I increase, it's more random. But I'm going to put this to 0.01. And again, you can mess around by increasing it ever so slightly. The minus, etc. I'm quite happy with 0.01. Just a little bit askew in some places. And just a little bit extra detail that makes it more interesting. Now, to carry on, we're actually going to add even more detail. So, coming to our first pillar, we're going to add some notches that's more damage. So I'm going to use Edit Mode, kind of like we did with the crate and barrel. I'm going to grab this vertice here, and I'm going to press Ctrl B to bevel, and V. Oop, too much of that. I'm just going to increase it there. And then with these two joints, to make sure that it cuts in the correct way, select these two vertices and press J to join them. And then what I'm going to do as well, select all these, press G and Z and pull it up. And there we go, got a nice little notch here. And we've got one over here that's 2. I can select both these. I can press Ctrl B to just bevel. Now I want to line the middle, so I'm going to increase. And I do want to move this down, G, Z, bring this down. Now I don't want these, I want to pull these up. Now before we do that, I actually want to turn this on, which is auto merge, because if I move with these, actually I'll just demonstrate. If I press GG and try and move it there, click away and then come back and press G, you can see it's not merged with that one. So I'm going to turn this on, which is auto merge, press GG, click. Now if I click that again, it's all one piece. So GG, there we go, I'm quite happy with that. And other things you could do, so that's handy when you've already got a loop in there, but what happens when you don't have a loop? Well, there's a couple of things you can do. You can use the knife tool. Where is that hidden? It's hidden down here somewhere. Yeah, we've got the knife tool here, and it's pretty good to practice with this, so I can just click, and you notice if I come near the edge, it kind of goes green and snaps. I can also rotate, and I can go to this side and just click, so it adds a notch there. And I can actually, let's see if I can be cheeky and come here. I could have connected it, but I always like to connect it manually just to make sure it all works, because it can be a good bit glitching this. And I press enter to seal the deal. Yeah, very happy with that. I'll get rid of this as well by pressing N. That's just annoying there. Doesn't matter if it's a bit ski width, it just adds, it makes it more random. We want things to be a bit random. So just like we did here, I'm just going to add, I'm going to press there. Just going to select these and bevel that. And I can actually do bring it down a bit. And over here, now just press 1 to get to vertex mode. We could do B, oh, sorry, Control B, V. And if you get the star, which can be kind of cool, be really cool patterns of this. I'll just go scroll wheel because I don't want that pattern. And we've selected GZ, bring it up a bit. And select these vertices and press J. There we go. And that's with the knife tool there. Another tool that would be quite handy if you want to keep the line nice and straight is it's hidden underneath the knife tool. So if you click and hold on the knife tool, we've got by select. So I do need to select everything. So I'm going to press A to select everything. And now I can just click, drag, and make a cut. And yeah, we've got a cut there. You can actually, with this gizmo, we can actually move it up and down. You can move it all the way down or move it up over there. I'm quite happy with it there. Other cool feature of this is that we can clear the inner, clear the outer, you can fill it in. So that'll be handy if you wanted to use this to like cut out shapes. But for now I'm quite happy with that. I can press enter to seal the deal. And just like we did before, just create our notches. So look at that. Yeah, I think here would be a good place. B, a notch in there. J to join, and I'm quite happy with leaving that there. I might bring G, so bring this one down. B. Again, I don't want them connecting there. I do want to have a bit of space there. And just carry on making my notches. So yes, I might. And you just keep repeating this pattern over and over. You can use this tool by select or the knife tool. Some say it's better to practice more the knife tool so you get more familiar, because if you do get errors with it, you can just undo, try again. So it's probably best to practice with that. I would probably use the by select just to speed things up. Maybe there. GG there, and face. That's a bit too symmetrical, so G, Z, bring it down there. That looks a lot better. So yeah, I'm going to go around and probably add some notches. I'm going to do the same to these two, so I'm going to speed up this process a little bit. Okay, and back, and quite happy with all the damage that I have done to these poor pillars. They look pretty beaten up. Again, try not to go over the top with it, but it does make it look a lot interesting. Now, finally, to wrap things up, we're going to add some color to these guys. So we're going to go into the color mode here, and we're going to have like different shades, like 2 shades of the rock texture. We're going to have a light and dark. So I'm going to cover this in the dark bits first. So going over to materials down here, I'm going to click new. I'm going to call this one, if it'll let me, I have to bring this, pull this out a little bit so I can call this rock dark. I'm just going to make this kind of a dark, oh yeah, I like that grey. I really like that shade of grey. And we're also going to increase the roughness to 0.8. So, you know, rock isn't smooth, it's very rough. So yeah, really like that. I mean, you can play around, so you bring the roughness down, you can see you got kind of a shiny metallic thing going on, and do not want that. So 0.8, pretty happy with that. And I'm going to apply the rest to both of these. So these two are going to have the dark rock there and dark rock there. Now, what I do want to do is I want to add another color to this. I want to add a light texture. So I can press plus here and new, and this is going to be rock, if you guessed it, light. And I'm just going to make this kind of a not quite a lighter shade gray. Now, at the moment it's not showing up because we've not assigned anything to it. So I'm going to go into edit mode. I'm going to select it by, actually keep on vertices, and let's see, thinking of what I want to be the light sections, I think this one, and this one, and this one down here. Again, kind of a off on, light dark sort of thing. So I'm going to put this on quickly here. That works as well. I'm going to go on to wireframe. I'm just trying to select the center. It's a bit tricky when you've got battle damage, but Actually, I'll do this on faces. Be a lot easier. So faces here, hold shift, grab these faces, and grab these faces here, and I'm going to press Control Plus to increase the area selection. So it's selecting. I'm just going to check, am I happy? I am very happy. That's done it beautifully. If it hasn't, then you can go in and add by holding shift. So I'll bring this back to color mode, and I want to assign. And there you go. It has made those areas lighter. I also noticed the roughness. I've not changed that. That's 0.8. And let's take a wee look. Yeah, I do kind of like that. So I'm going to speed things up. Well, I'll probably slow it down here first of all. I'm going to go move things around. Go to edit mode there. Make sure I select this one. And it's got both colors there. And this one, for some reason, has only got one. So if this happens, just press plus. And we can select from the light rock we've already got. There we go. So it's got both its colors stored in these two here and this one here. So now I can go over to edit mode, wireframe, go view. Now I do want, yeah, this one will be dark, this light, light, light. Yes, let's sum this up here. So selecting those, and shift, selecting one of these, and shift, selecting these. Control plus to increase the area selection, and then take a good look to make sure it's selected. Yep, it has selected everything I'm happy with. And goes color and assign here. Boom. And then finally, we'll do the same with this one. And this one, light. Light this here. And this one light as well. I mean, you could change the order if you wanted to. I don't know. I personally like this. I'm checking. Yep, very happy with that. Same color, assign, and voila. We've got our pillars ready to go. So there we go. We have our pillars. We also have brown crate, which I'm actually going to move GX, bring those a bit forward. And there you go, we've got some nice building blocks. The beautiful thing is we can duplicate these, move around. In the next video, we're going to be making the walls that go in between these pillars and making it so we can easily build a nice dungeon, kind of think of Legos connecting things up nicely. So until next time, see you later.